haven't got a lot of money, but I got a couple of guitars and I've been praying. Well, I'm waiting for nothing, like Steve Jobs was waiting for nothing. Remember? They took him right down. And he started working on calligraphy. Remember that? Remember that? What have I been working on? Well, I bought a keyboard and I was playing piano, just starting. And I'm a guy that can learn online. I've been buying these and getting good on harmonica. And one of the best harmonica players, they might coach me if I get somewhere where I can afford to eat and live. I could do this anywhere. I know he's in Godrich. I can do that in Australia. Now I'm looking at the variances of what you're showing on Rebel, my Rebel technology. Yeah, I've used drum machines. What do you think of them? Why use them? Why not layer down the tracks with percussion instruments, or delegate it to a drummer? Because I'll tell you, I don't think they have the timbalance or anything to them. I'd rather have a percussion track on that. So I want to be a music producer. And I'm reading the person that thinks they can do it all in one gig. I can do a lot of things. But I should write the music. I can play multiple instruments. I play bass, I play electric guitar, I play acoustic guitar, I play multi-tunings. I can play bottleneck guitar. I'm not a drummer, but I know the rhythm. I play keyboards. I can play piano, boogie woogie, jazz, electronic piano, electric piano, organ. Yeah, but maybe I'm just going to write the notation, perform it, and delegate it in the studio. There's things I don't like, and I've been using AI and asking. Australia's got into a combo there, like a Big Mac. And the combo is the clipping levels. I was always wondering why we're using so much compression on the recording tracks. Well, it takes the semblance off and the timbalance off the instrument. It's because of clipping, right? Well, what's the use? I'm reading Lovington, and he's talking about tape grades and what to use. Well, they do degrade, so you put through DAW. But like vocal tracks would be better to really use a tape recording machine. I was just talking about the mid ranges on the guitar. Yeah, you know anything about mic placements, room dynamics, everything. Yeah, will change the dynamics. You need maybe using EQ, bring up the range. Depends what the guitar is. You use a piece of garbage, you get a mid-range sound. Depends what the guitar is. And I'm not saying that's a guitar, but my guitar's got a crack in it. I'm buying a new one if I can get the money out of the lawsuit here before we go to Australia. I want to be a recording engineer, a recording producer. I've been doing this since 1970s. I was in a band. I was a bass player. You know what, the band, I was starting to learn bass, and he says, you could learn a lot more if you learn to play a chromatic key. Yeah. But do I use a chromatic key board? No, I learn it on the chromatic keyboard, the structures of bass, and apply it to the bass guitar, or maybe an upright, or some sort of string bass. And I'll probably buy another bass and record it through, or write the music for a bass player to put through. Now, there's a science here. A man that's really good in business has to delegate jobs off. We can multi-track and put things together. There's a lot of people. We want music that's real. I know I can play around with dials. I've played around with drum machines and stuff. But a good percussionist is going to be a better deal. you know, like she said to me, AI will do my artwork for my websites. It's not the real feel of a graphic artist. That's true. So I'm listening to that variance. A percussionist is going to be better for the deal because it's a human beat. Piano, you're using a counting method of the beats and how many measures and bars. If you don't know that stuff, then you might as well throw the baby out the dishwater. It takes years to become. You're only learning. And I'll tell you, there is good music coming out there by younger people, but it's always a progression. And if I could say anything, if you want a female artist, nobody quits until that woman sings. Joni Mitchell just kept on progressing her music, working on her vocal technique, and she sort of got a jazz nuance. And you just keep on expanding it. I'm 70. I'm not as old as Joni. I'm not as old as Keith Richards. I'm not as old as Eric Clapton. I'm not as old as a lot of them out there, but they're still going. And the thing is, you don't give up. You just keep going. So I've heard some videos here, and he says, you don't give up guitar. I still play. And because I play piano, I understand the music theory better. And another thing is, I can play by ear. I know what the C note is and the D and like that. But if I don't know how to read music, it's sort of stupid. Because reading is like writing. You're going to write a piece and put it on for the other artist, you got to know it. And it makes the theory come together. So you got to know theory. Does it sound hard? Everything's hard. It's not hard. It's the way our methodology, our form, the way we do it. If you put passion into it, it gets interesting. But you notice that you're starting to improve your music. And learning musical theory, learning mixing techniques, and hybriding with maybe a DAT system, learning microphone range placements. So your guitar's got too much mid-range. Is it microphone placements on that acoustic guitar? It can be. There's I was learning techniques that you can have the microphones around the room picking up different frequencies. And not through a mixer, you're going to get different sounds. And every mic has got a different sound. Everything's a little different. Isn't that interesting? So many variables there for a recording artist. Piano, you're recording a grand piano, you got to have a right condenser mic on it, or a couple of mics. You got to get into knowing what bleed is in the music. Even in the days of rock and roll, they looked at those accidents, and that's what she was talking about, accidents. What's an accident? The ambience of a mic bleeding into another thing, another mic, and taking that track and recording it through. I can go back to a bit of music here. Cello by Nick Drake. Did you ever see the bleed? The guitar, the vocals were coming through the guitar mic. But they took the nuance of the guitar vocal, the vocal track that was going through that mic bleed, and brought her back. And the ambience is incredible. So do I know everything? I've been watching those videos for years. I have set up a lot of gear. We were analog all the time, but we were using boards and big boards in the 70s. We're using a lot of a lot of gear. I don't think the modulations change much. It's still basically the same, the modulation. We're making better pedals. So we use a lot of pedals on things. Like I like an analog pedal, so I like electroharmonic. But loopers? Oh, hell. I got one looper. I'm not going to throw it out. I can use it for looping my mom instrument tracks. I can find that. It's, where is it? It's over there somewhere. Greg, you're a mess. But I'm very limited on my instrumentation, but I'm in a litigations lawsuit. I'll get some money out of it before I leave Australia, and I got to mix it up to know what I can take with me. So that guitar's got a crack in it. I want some more better guitar. I've been playing it for a long time. I'm still playing it, but it's not a good recording instrument. It's got problems with it. The top's cracked. Tone's all right, but it's workable. These harmonicas, I found they'd be the best for my type of music. I work with Carlos. He uses all what's he use? He uses Carlos Junco. He's using melody makers. He's got a custom builder, and they put wood block in there. These already got them in. They're not the old one. I got an old one that goes back a lot older. The wood didn't swell, but they built what do you call it? Bamboo, so it doesn't swell. Yeah, it's an A. And I was just wondering, I signed a singer-songwriter. You play piano now? Yeah, but I don't know the key A. Well, you better learn it. Because it's a good start point. Because on the chromatic scale, you're getting in circles, fifths. You start on C, you're always going to be stuck in C on a piano. So I think an A is a good key to start. Learn a minor and a major and your other sus chords. I use augmented A, a triad, and it sounds good. I hammer on it. Anything works. If you know the flavors of triads, you can use them. And I just hammer on one. I got the bass beat going down, and I got an augmented A, bang, da da da, da da da, back and forth, and I can take it down. I can go up the scale to in that scale. That's what you gotta learn, and it'll help you on piano. So I'm learning a lot. So did I get stuck on one instrument? No, I thought learning a language, which is linguistics of words, is learning multiple instruments. So if I retune my guitar, it's a different scale, and it's sort of shifting the brain. Shifting the brain all the time. You're always, and it brings more creativity into anything you do. And I'm listening to this on business or anything you're working at. You stay at home in a messy house and look at the thing. Your brain is not functioning. So you take the computer out and do some work in a coffee shop, in a bar somewhere. Might be noisy in there, but it's a shift to the neurology of the brain that can function better. And this is a psychology of creativity and work. And if you're going to be a musician, you got to know a little bit of your psychology. Because I'm meeting top artists. And they come to me and they say, I'm stuck. Yeah. And I'm looking at all the things you're showing me because I know the neurology of the brain. You're stuck. You're bitching about your husband watching TV because he's a mirror of your stuckness. A mirror of your stuckness. And that's all you see. So that's the way your brain's thinking. You got a creative edge of your subconscious coming through, and you're frustrated. So you got to shift the brain there. always have his studio somewhere else. A granny flat or something. Always have a shifts in what you're doing. And she's a great artist, and I got her going, and she's wrote another album. I'm serious about this. These are professionals. I'm not going to mention her name. She's famous. But how many people get stuck in anything they're doing that's a creative process? Is it a miracle thing? Well, there's a lot of subconscious and conscious coming into the creative field. And it's the logic of listening, getting it, and changing the shift pattern to get unstuck. Now, we know Brian Wilson laid in bed for a long time. Clinical psychologists say he was depressed. No, he was trying to get out of that Beach Boys sound that was just stuck. The next album came out, and that sounds incredible. Transition of harmonies and using modulations in the studio with the equipment they had back then. Time for my vibrations. And it was just an incredible shift. The Beatles shifted the same year. Remember that? Listen to Sgt. Pepper's. It was a monumental point of progressive music. So what's wrong with the music system? Nothing really. It's just that we go by familiarity of a form. So you got to take the artists, take it out a little farther, where we can be really nuanced and put a lot of record art to it, and it might sell. When I've heard really progressive music, I've had to take a long time to get used to it, because the brain works on that neurology of stuckness. So the music now is pretty well the same, right? Because it sells the latest, greatest thing, but it's not progressive. We can shift up the modulation, shift up the tonality of the music, the rhythmic elements. But you know what I'm hearing now? The familiarity is 4/4 time. We can change pitch and the meter and everything. There's a lot of things we can do with music to make it really progressive. Am I making sense? Amplitude, modulations, all sorts. We used to just crank up the volume. Your brains would blow out in the 70s. Why were we cranking up the volume? Because the damn percussionist was a madman. So the gear went up higher. Look at the Who. Look at the Who. What they using is high wet stacks. I've used them too, and they're power heads, and it's a lot of volume. But look at that crazy guy in the kit. Keep moving. So, and Fleetwood Mac, Mick Fleetwood, old guy, he's madman. So is Ringo Starr. He's still playing because he changed the way he held the sticks. You listen to it. Just that move of a percussionist, way he held the kit, changed the Beatles sound completely. It did. It put a backbeat to it. You can't lose it any way you do it. Music was progressing with drummers. Bowman, Led Zeppelin, and that crazy, Pete Moon. He changed everything. Listen to Quadrophenia. Please, if you're a percussionist, listen to Quadrophenia. There's a madman in the background. I play with drummers, and their fills are all right, but they lose the meter. Listen to that percussionist. Woo. How can you keep the meter and play like that? He was a genius, but he's a madman. I think Pete Moon was a really good percussionist when I listened to Quadrophenia. And I listened to it. It's just insanity, but he's still keeping the meter. There's a lot going on with that boy. He was just diagnosing crazy. But Mad Hatters make good music and percussions. And I've seen Mick Fleetwood up front. He is a madman. He's crazy as a hoot when he does the drum solo. So am I against drummers? I'm not a drummer. I wanted to be one, just like, but my daddy wouldn't let me, so he bought me a guitar. Who went through that? There's quite a few guitarists that want to be drummers. But you put up with it. But I wanted to play piano on the piano. They're a big, heavy thing. I bought electric. And I started playing that. But I had a piano before I got thrown out of the house to sell the estate. That's not the personal story. Things happen. Things happen, and they teach you. You got to watch the crooks in your life. Well, they decided to disown me, and I've decided to part the seas of living in Canada, if that's sort of legal system we got. I like to keep gear and have money. I kept my guitar, but it got busted. The weather changed and cracked the top. So I want a new guitar. I'll see what money I can get out of a civil litigation or anything that works. I'll take whatever I can get, leave Canada, and I want money. I'm going to study music. I'm going to study music full time. How are you going to do it? Well, I lever it up on something else. I got an online business. Because I look around at other top musicians that made it. They're selling beats. I'm making more money on the digital platform selling drop shipments of crystals and stuff because I'm a Reiki master. So what would you do with Reiki? I balance my system up to think better. The guy says, you're crazy. You're going to put Reiki in the guitar? Yeah, might get some mojo. That doesn't work. The guy picked up my guitar. Wow, what has happened to this guitar? It plays like crazy. Mojo. I'm the devil man. No. This computer didn't work the other day. No, there's no sound on. What happened? I don't know. I was channeling Reiki into it like that. Come out and the thing's working. See, we don't know anything. But that's another thing. If I was going to do a session, we're going to get a tight set. I got to make the atmosphere good. So I'll do some Reiki in the room or energy healing, or maybe put some energy, some oils in there, something to make the musician sound smell better. No, they just get a better resonance of feel. So here's the thing. The cognition has to be, there is a psychology to this. The cognition of your mind has to be pure, or you won't have any creativity or any connection with the other artists. We're just playing with ourselves. I don't mean to be personal, but well, if we're doing tracks and got another studio over there and we can blend them, we can do live tracks all over the world now. But we got to have our neurological functions functioning right that we can do this work and it's not locking us down. Because I'll tell you, a lot of artists get into blocks. Now we know the neurology of the system has to change. No, you have to use the placebo, change your brain, mind, change your brain, and you'll have more flow, more creativity. I really believe we can combine everything on like a soup of all the things I've learned. And I'll tell you why I've learned this. I've learned this and this and this and this about psychology, about holistic medicine, Erickson's hypnosis. And I'm wondering, how's it fit together? Well, I get into AI and I ask those questions. And bang, they're putting it together like a book. That works. So I'm going to ask you, we can write song lyrics by AI, but to write a good song lyric, you've got to keep a human element to it. So you write it down on a pen and come up with maybe a few verses and start out with a concept of a lyric. But don't let it do it itself. It's too mechanical. It's too machine-like. It's a good principle because it's going to fit the music that you've written. Because it takes a lot of work to put lyrics on a song, around a song, or write the. I don't think I'd write the lyrics first. Elton John never did, and neither did Jackson Brown. But other artists do, guitar players. It's the horse before the cart. I think I'd come up with a musical idea, melody or structure, and put the song to it. So here's another variance. Listen to this. People can't write very well unless they got a few shots of beer, whiskey, right? Or go out to a club. You can sit at the table there, have a few pints, listen to headphones, and chisel down on a piece of paper. But make sure you carry it home. Then you take it home, put it through your AI or anything, and try to put it that music. See, you're changing the mindset. Getting drunk? Wow. No, you're just loosening up to your hair of the dog of sobriety. That that's the limit. If you wet yourself, you can't drink like Keith Moon. Because that's perpetually drunk. So I'm thinking that's the hair of the dog bites you. Yeah, a few drinks will loosen up that creative juice there. But I wouldn't play guitar or play piano with that, would you? Oh, you can't play good music drunk. Different neurology, but you sure can write like a cooker off a few beer. I've always done that. Who's done that? A lot of writers have been drunks. Sports writers are always drunk, eh? You gotta be drunk. See, you see the idiots losing all the time. What are you gonna write a story about? You gotta loosen up the juice there. You go on a date, you loosen up the juice. She gets a little looser. She has a few pints, feels. But it comes to the point their head's on the table and saying hi. That's not good. But am I being facetiously stupid? Could be. That's not for me to decide. You're the analyzer. You decide. Maybe the neurology of anything I say here, maybe one thing might be right for you. One thing, just one thing. Because I seem to be the type of guy that can set one point and all of a sudden they got it and they're way with it. Like to the races, just one phrase or one idea. Well, can I have that? No, I'm going to sell it now. So I better have a contract on every damn creative thought I come to when I'm offering it to somebody that's in business or in music. It's just one point. How much do I owe you? I haven't got a price on it. I better figure out a method. But that's creativity. Can we put a price on it? We don't know where it's going. It's a catch-29. I don't know what to do with that. But we can price packages together in business, services. We can price them together. We come up with a price, but we can't outprice ourselves. Yeah. I put a bunch of programs together. I'm going to sell them. Yeah. But here's the kicker. If you're a musician and you're into life coaching or anything, it's a good backup. Multi-income streams, always. Because gear costs money. Good gear. And all I meet is guys that made it, but they got more damn gear than their house. The value of their house. I met some top musicians. The house isn't worth what I got in here. See, things cost money, of course. But it's interesting. There's some of these videos on here that Again, Fender Rhodes pianos, they're really the nice get-go of the original sound. Hammond B3, they're the real deal, but do you need them on tour? I don't think so. But the recording studio, Hammond B3 might be the answer. See, I don't know. To get the right sound. A lot of musicians are still using those instruments. We used to use what was it called? Mellotrons. Mellotron. It was a tape loop system. It wire, everything going on, but it was tape loops. So we use a DI computer-based system. No, it's loop. There's no limit to the loop. How long you're gonna hold the note for? We use MIDI devices. It is the replacement of the Mellotron, basically. MIDI device on certain instruments. Wires? Oh, God. Yeah. There's a lot of variances of sound banks of sounds that we can use and take. Sampling is an incredible device, Take a recording of a toaster. You get what's a synthesizer? An analog synthesizer is taking a signal and we take it and make music out of it. Oh, if you take a sample of some noise, it has a frequency, a sound wave. You can use that. That's a variance. It's a lot of tools. Sampling. But you got to have a little microphone going around picking up sounds. Bird sounds, squeaky tire, squeaky wheel, hey, gate squeaking, go around, get it. You got that sound. That takes so many variances. You put it through a sampler. Works. There's a lot of things to think about when you're creating good music. And what I think is it's not one variety club here called Vanilla Boy or Vanilla. Your band's not vanilla. Think about it. Your music is not vanilla, kids. It can be many things. Think about it.